In this video, we're going to talk about how you can command respect effortlessly. And it's different to what a lot of people think. And there's one core principle that drives it all. Because respect is not bought, it is earned. And when any man has it, other men admire it in other men, in those men. And when men have it, women admire it. And there's one principle that stands alone. And I want to dig into it because it's often misunderstood. It's about integrity, and it is the bedrock of respect, but integrity functions differently to most people think. So when we coach or when we teach or train men, we talk about our head, our heart, and our balls as three separate driving forces of the authentic masculine. We need all three. Too often you get people in one camp, like the balls camp or the heart camp or the head camp, and they think they've figured out how to be a man because they've got one bit working. And I see very rarely that people have all three working. You do get examples where you have two working. But what our balls do is they give us courage, and courage is the background of integrity, because courage means I'm going to do what I say. Courage means if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to follow through, so I can trust myself and you can trust me. And courage means I have the courage to say no and or set or uphold a boundary where I need to. There's a whole other video on that on my nice guy section that I think is super important for us to explore. So if you want to learn more, look there. I'll put a link at the end. So our integrity and our courage give us authenticity, because that's our power base. Without that, we can't trust ourselves. Like if I say I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow and then I don't, that is massively harmful to my self-esteem. If I tell my daughter or my children or someone I'm working with, I'm going to do that thing and I don't do it, not only does it cost me their trust, it costs trust in the masculine as a collective. People say, not just I can't rely on you, I can't rely on men. Okay, so this is hugely, hugely important. So, and one of the ways we do it is through consistency. People learn and watch. So if you start saying, I'm going to do this and you do it, or no, I'm not going to do that, and you've got a good reason and you're able to hold firm. If you do that on repeat, that builds trust through a consistency. And after a while, people know you to be that reliable person, and you will start to hold and carry yourself differently. Your solar plexus, your heart, your posture will change, and people will naturally, magnetically feel drawn to you and just know, that's a man I can rely on. It is that potent, because once it gets repeated in our nervous system, we start to embody it. And this is how we align our authentic masculinity with respect. And therefore, it elevates masculinity, not just for us and our self-esteem, but for how the world views men, how your loved ones, your colleague, your wider circle start to interact with you. So I like to reframe, how we use our balls as a source of integrity, and that is the baseline for our sense of self, and it's the baseline for our masculinity. It's really one of the first rites of passage we want to be going through as young men that so many of us missed. I mean, my father was an alcoholic, which meant not only was I given a very poor role model, was he physically, emotionally abusive. When I got into my power and my courage, it was either shut down or certainly wasn't encouraged and helped to blossom. Okay, but this is something that needs to blossom, which is, and I have two sons that I teach this to all the time, which is, if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you don't want to do something, speak up about it. Because this is how we hold our self-respect. It's how we start taking responsibility. It's how we start being accountable. It's how we start preserving our well-being. It's about how we protect our loved ones, and on and on and on and on it goes. So if this resonates and you want to start practicing this in your life, type respect in the comments. Let me know something that you're going to change in your life this week. I would love to know more. Because when this is wielded well, this is how we do assertion without aggression. This is how we do strength but without force. This is how we do, being directed but without being rigid. All of these things stem from this simple ability to say what we're going to do what we'll say, and say no. Okay, it's really, really, really that powerful. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Now that you know this one thing, that integrity that comes from our balls, that binds it all together, check out the video I've done on nice guy syndrome, and check out the other video on the masculinity crisis, because the nice guy one will give you how do I practically assert and use boundaries, and the masculinity crisis goes a bit more into head, heart and balls and how we can get them working together. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Bye for now.